Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the first stop of DreamHack in 2018. It's a DreamHack Open live from Leipzig, Germany. So happy to have you guys here on day 1 of 3. Yeah, I went there the other day. Way punk. There's the trophy these players are fighting for, these teams. $50,000 as well up for grabs, and none of this would be possible without our sponsors, Corsair, Astro, and Psyonix. Fun fact about Astro: the headsets that the players are using on stage are actually Astro headsets. So, pretty awesome opportunity to check out Astro Gaming. Learn more about Astro Audio and their premium gaming headsets at astrogaming.com. Of course, we all know how important communication is in Rocket League, and that's what these guys are using on the stage, so definitely check that out. But what an amazing day of Rocket League, guys. This is about to be our 12th match of the day. It's going to be another rematch. We're seeing a lot of these today. And it's going to be Juicy Kids going up against Excel in this group that we're all looking at from the start. We're like, wow, this is a pretty stacked group. How can it only be that 2 of these teams are going to advance to tomorrow? Because Gale Force has already advanced through this group.
Yeah, they had to wait 4 matches. We saw this as the first match of Wave B of these last groups, and then we're seeing it as the last match. So they've had to wait a while to get to this rematch. And of course, we saw Juicy Kids take out Excel 2 games to 1. Very tight set, very inconsistent set from both teams. Lots of errors, I would say, on both sides.
Early on.
Yeah, but they had some time to get some scrim time in, hopefully, versus some of these other guys, and we'll see if one of these teams can just put together 2 solid games and move on to day number 2.
And that's the big question. Excel really need to fix all those issues because they got blown out in game number 3. I mean, because in that game number 2, they shut out Juicy Kids, and then Jazer got them right back into that game number 3 with that big, awesome read off the corner. Yes, the mini Moy guys, and it's really curious. I'm wondering if Jazer is kind of just that spark that they need something. He does something insane, that whole team kind of drives off of that.
And that's kind of the thing. Like sometimes, like you don't need to be consistent because you get that one amazing goal.
It's like J-Nix.
And then and then it's like,
all
right,
sick,
we're up 1-0.
Like, let's do it.
And everything changes, and you're like, all right, here we go. So that's all you need to start off with a Moy guys, and you'll win. Simple as that.
Easy.
That's the key. You know, a lot of people rooting for this Juicy Kids roster to do some great things, and I feel like they do have the potential, but we're going to move on over to talking about this other team on the other side. It's Excel, and this is a team that has, each of them have been mainstays of the RLCS. You've got Marky Duda, of course, an actual champion. You got Niels Cook as the MVP of last season. Just so many weapons on this Excel team that I personally think the Juicy Kids, you know, they were able to figure it out in that first match, but can you do that twice in a row?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I feel like Excel probably mechanically is slightly better than Juicy Kids in all 3 roles. Marky coming over for that leadership.
There it is.
There's the eyebrows.
Yep.
He does it better than everyone.
Just a little.
And of course, we still have Niels Cook coming up, of course, the Season 4 MVP. Yep. He had to carry his team a lot, and I think that's why they made the move to grab Marky, to try and take some of that weight off of him. Yeah. But so far, we saw Marky do it all in Game 2, basically, to get that win for Excel. Like, I thought he was playing really well, then went quiet in Games 1 and 3. So again, just 2 games. You just need to play well for 10 minutes, and you can move on to day 2.
And Pondex has also been a fairly solid support player on every team he's played with. So, I mean, he's a pretty dependable backline kind of guy. So you got to get it through that, man, if you want to score.
All right, we are 11 matches down with 1 more to go, and I'm about ready to get into this next one. So, guys, the last thing to do for us here on the desk is to throw out our predictions. Chiefs, let's start with you.
So I like numbers for the most part. I don't have a lot of numbers to go off of here, of course, but I like what I've seen in the numbers, and I like what I've seen out of Juicy Kids. I think they win it.
So I like numbers as well, and so far we've had 3 streamed games that were rematches.
Yes.
All 3, the team that lost first won the second time.
Really?
That's going to continue here.
Okay.
Excel is going to make that 4 for 4.
That's a stat.
And Excel is going to win this one.
I think Jazer is an incredible weapon for the Juicy Kids. You never know when he's going to come out of nowhere and have an awesome play, and that is something the Juicy Kids can get behind. But I think Excel has more of a solid foundation overall, and I think it starts with Niels Cook, and I think Marky Duda is a great asset to that, and Pondex. But Niels Cook especially, you know, being last season's MVP, it's really hard for me not to see them in day 2, so I'm picking Excel here. And let's go ahead and invite our commentators in the conversation. We got, I think it's Shogun and Gregan, right? I think you guys are still hanging out. I know.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, there they are. How are you guys doing? What are y'all thinking about this matchup coming?
These boys are talking about numbers and like, oh, we don't have that many numbers. We don't have the numbers. You have the perfect number here. You have the amount of times these guys have played today.
Yeah.
1 to Juicy Kids. 0 to Excel.
Did you hear Gibbs' point?
Why do you need this much?
You make a very valid point, but Gibbs is trying to follow a trend. He loves his trends.
Sure.
And on this occasion, he might be right.
This is why I like Gregan.
This is a sound analysis, Gibbs. You might be right here. Well, we're about to find out. Gregan and Shogun, go ahead and take it away, guys.
Well, thank you. And I think the main point here is we've seen these guys play before, and I think the most important thing to take away from that is it was very close.
It absolutely was. I mean, these guys played earlier on today, and whilst the first games were very close indeed, it just seemed like Excel collapsed in Game 3. Never really had a shot at it because by the time they really had their heads in the game, the match was already far away from their grasp. So this is their opportunity. Both these teams were in the same group as Gale Force, so it was always likely that we were going to be seeing this rematch, and it has come about. What has Excel learned? What have they done with their time between Game 1 and this game right here? Well, I'm looking forward to finding that out.
I don't know how much forward thinking these teams have had in terms of the rematch potential, but if you're in a group with a team like Gale Force, or in the case with Method, that was another team to beat if you won your potential rematch. I wonder if they just went, first game, doesn't matter, let's feel it out, see what it's like. First game of the tournament, get used to the environment, and then we're going to see the true Excel and the true Juicy Kids in this rematch as we are starting now. Kickoff pretty neutral, as I'm sure the game is going to be very similarly even.
Absolutely. We've spent all day watching Rocket League, whilst these guys have been spending all day playing Rocket League. Let's finish it out with some very good matches, shall we, as Jazer finds himself on the wall, but now Excel, chances for them. However, neither team really making much of their possessions so far. Marky going to get off the backboard. No one there to contest it either. Should be a follow-up, and it is. Lovely setup from Marky, and Nils Cook's shot placement on point.
I love how pumped Marky is after that touch, finding it high on the backboard, and you see both Jazer and Killer number 7 struggling to be able to read that, but the most impressive thing was Nils connected with that ball as his boost hit 0. So much awareness of his boost control and momentum to score the first goal of this match.
There's going to be a follow-up shot. That leads very much in danger almost immediately off the kickoff, but as you mentioned, Marky Dudar pumped up, talking. We've seen it before from him. Even the most famous Marky Dudar gif out there is of him shouting at the rest of his team, come on! And if Marky Dudar is that passionate, not only about this tournament, but about the game in general, he is a dangerous man to have on the field.
Oh, for sure. Marky has played his best when he's pumped up, and I think Niels and Pwned might enjoy that environment, which is the reason they picked him up. Because I don't want to be rude to Zentus, he's a quality Rocket League player, but in terms of pump, he is nothing like Marky.
I like how we're now talking about players in terms of their pump. However, Marky gets a full 10 out of 10 as Jazer wants to try and find himself. It'll be very difficult to do, though, on 0 boost. Now, Excel have their opportunity to go on the offense, but once again, leaving the ball. Niels Cook's also been taken out. As dangerous as Juicy Kids make the offense happen. Still not quite in a position that Excel would like to be in. Stocky taking the ball away from Killer. I disagree with that. Maybe should have turned around and set himself up in a better position.
I agree, and even there, Killer number 7 throwing away the ball in an opportunity that could have been quite convenient for him to get a backboard touch.
Goal. Stocky will turn that one in.
How has that happened?
I mean, we talked about this earlier, about Excel constantly double committing, and the case yet again.
Beautiful touch though by Killer number 7. Definitely an underrated touch to hit it straight up into the ceiling and just take a player out of the game. Because if your teammate's tight to you, they're always going to be next to that ball and you're guaranteed to take a player out of the game. In this case, 2, and they score a goal.
It's like a rugby punt, really, isn't it, to start off
Chip
the
and
game?
chase.
Oh, well, Killer number 7 chases down the kickoff, and he's going to make it 2. Excel, they had the lead, and now they don't.
That's interesting though, because Niels cheated up close to the ball when Marky did the kickoff that looks like you lose it to the back left. So that's just something you need to find out in your team. Like Marky's kickoff is get the ball early, lose it to a back corner, and they just don't seem to be able to react to that at the moment.
Pwned on the wall, he's basically giving this one straight back up to Jazer as Excel trying to get some breathing room over in defense. Now Pwned off the backboard. Stocky should be able to get to him, but it's still not quite safe, and Jazer has to come through and help out. This is a lot of boost used for Excel just to contain this offensive play. And if Excel can keep this moving, then they'll be in a very good spot indeed. However, it looks like Juicy Kids have not only played it away, but have set it up for a good opportunity. Killer wants to drop down and almost gets it, but Marky just in front stops the lead from going up by 2.
When that ball drops down from the corner at the ceiling, it's so dangerous because it's flush with your goal line. and all it takes is a powerful touch towards the net, and you can even pile drive it through the goalkeeper. On this occasion, though, good defense from XL keeps the scores close, but Juicy Kid's still ahead.
Owen can't quite reach that ball. Still gonna be loose. Has to manage to steal some boost though, so that we're gonna be players like Jazer. We have to wait even longer as yet another one stolen from the corner. Now going to be dropped straight down. Jason can't quite get there, but it will be Killer. Comes to help out. How much time have Juicy Kids got left? How long until they are completely out of resources? It looks like Jesus finally managed to pick up something. And Excel has managed to drop the siege. The Juicy Kids did well to just about survive and not really have any major situations to deal with.
That's a bad clear from Niels. Anything which is lobbed up high near your own goal line, especially when both your teammates are looking for boost, is always going to result in a shot. On this occasion, didn't work out for them. You just got to be a little bit smarter with the way you clear. Sometimes a soft touch near your goal is better than trying to hit it hard.
The clashing with Jesus. That ball's going to go long. Still 2-1. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining. Juicy Kids have the lead. Now Stocky. He's still Machine. I think that's the longest Stocky's managed to stick with a name. It's about 2 hours, but I'm impressed nonetheless. He's now going to keep taking the ball. Killer with the shot off the top. Straight into the net, and now Juicy Kids look comfortable.
I think we've got to credit the pass here. Stocky just... Oh, no, there was no pass.
It was...
Okay, let's not credit the pass. I take that completely
You get
back.
nothing, Stocky.
It looked like Stocky tipped up to the side, but actually it was just an unusual bounce off of the curvature, which popped it up at that beautiful aerial height where all you got to do is hit it flat and it will go in just below the crossbar.
That's a little bit scary right there. That's the second time Juicy Kids have got a shot straight from the kickoff, almost in the exact same fashion. The first one resulted in a goal for them. This time around, not quite as much, but Excel have got all the work to do and very little time to do it. Attempting passing play, but there is no one around there for them to aim for. And a demoed Niels Cook will make that even more difficult as we head into the final 30 seconds of this match. Killer number 7, he's got options, but his favorite option is Killer number 7.
You know when you want a teammate nearby and do that quick 1-2?
Yep.
On this occasion, that teammate was the wall. Killer number 7, just quick little bit of a bounce off the wall, sends it in quickly, finds the quickest route to net, the safest route to net, and finishes that goal off, putting Juicy Kids in probably the most comfortable position we've seen between these two teams, and almost guaranteed taking this first game. But XL really need to step up their synergy, because at the moment there's just things that aren't clicking. Like, for example, that kickoff, they're passing, and if they can sort that out, they might be able to take Juicy Kids next game.
This definitely looks... Oh, wow, good shot there from Niels Cook. But this definitely looks like a team that is very recently formed, and they just don't quite have a sense of direction as to what they really want to do.
That was a very good shot. After watching that second time, that is some quality.
It's something I really wish I could get hyped for.
Yeah,
but apart from like a passing, what a good shot.
Yeah.
It doesn't really mean too much because 19 seconds remaining. The Juicy Kids still firmly in control. Stocky going to come off the ceiling. He might have time for this. He even did the little rotation around, i.e. Squishy back in the World Championships. However, we are going to come to the end of this, and I really want to go back to the point I was trying to make earlier on about the lack of direction. There seems to be some players that are trying to play at speed, some players that are trying to play with passing stuff, but with that fundamental mix all the time, no one's in position ready to anticipate.
I wonder how they've planned out a lot of these situations. Kickoff, have they spoken about how they're going to take kickoffs with this new team? With how they rotate into the play, have they spoken about perhaps a hierarchy? Is there going to be a player who particularly looks to go back? Because I've noticed in particular Niels is very quickly half rotating back in to hit the ball, but a lot of the time he's not got enough boost to do it, and it then means you're left in a very awkward situation of a 1 or 2v3. Yes. And that can be very tough to defend, especially against the creativity that Juicy Kids were showing there, which is why they conceded so many goals.
Well, Excel had a couple of hours to think of some answers to the Juicy Kids. Whatever they came up with did not work. So let's make the challenge more difficult. You've got 1 minute to think of an answer to the Juicy Kids because they are on match point. And if Excel lose this, they're out of the tournament on day 1.
Do you know what the answer is?
What?
Change your name, Stocky. Stocky Machine is not working for you. That must be the problem.
Absolutely. I genuinely think that he might. Although Stocky's on the winning team, so why would he?
Yeah, it'll change it up.
Why would he change it?
But why not?
Because you got the wrong team in your own head and you're still trying to save this. Yes, Gregan.
Game 2.
Yeah, of course.
We're going into game 2 here. As Juicy Kids have a 1-0 advantage. I knew that all the way through that last minute.
Here's Neil. It's just Neil's cook. I'm going to play my play now, Gregan.
Go ahead, Sugar.
Maki up high. He should get beats this by Stocky on the Juicy Kids team. Now, Killer playing the ball downfield. Pretty weak touch, but has slowed the pace down, so Excel have got time to bring everybody back. Jazer looking for a flick up over to Stocky. Might be able to make something of this, especially after a bounce like that. But Juicy Kids, it almost seemed as soon as Jazer had flicked, Stocky was the only one going to go forward, and they wanted to use him as a smoke screen whilst everyone got back. Yeah,
delaying that time for them to get a potential counter-attack. We've seen throughout the day, people have been very good at stalling. Once teams get ahead, they're very good at slowing it down. But that is a prime example of the time you need to do it all the time as Killer number 7 sneaks that one in below. Motionless Jazer watches. And that puts Juicy Kids in the lead.
So 2 players on the wall, neither player really able to do much of anything. It's Excel's problem yet again. They just seem unknowing of each other's positioning or each other's preferences, and just not quite filling in the gaps, and instead everyone's just trying to do their own thing as if they want to be the center of the team. And that's just not working right now. You need someone around that can just fill.
Yeah, I don't know why Niels was having to make that save from the back one. That's going to be a shot opportunity. Marky not getting the control he needed to score that goal, and it's just not quite looking in Excel's favor at the moment in every facet of the game.
Oh, Pone tries to take a shot, however, it was still blocked. Passing play was good, but Marky found himself too far forward. Now double commit. That's going to leave a 2v1, but Stocky plays the ball up high, and Jazer doesn't quite have the boost. A wasted opportunity from Juicy Kids, and now the counter-attack is on, but Marky too far forward. Even then, I don't really think there was much of an option to pass that far back. Once again, one of those inherent issues with trying to play from the corner. Double commit, Pwned takes the shot, but it's just not dangerous. Both teams in game number 2 looking incredibly shaky, but still Juicy Kids with a 1-0 lead.
We've got to remember, this tournament is important because obviously you want to get to the later stages and win it, but this is a huge chance for these teams to show what they're capable of. This is a rival series team versus an RLCS team. And right now, the rival series team is looking a lot stronger, and this is their chance, the first tournament of the year, to really show why they deserve to be where they are. So, this is Juicy Kids' chance to really prove themselves if they do make it to day 2, as they're looking likely to.
Well, it might not only be their chance to win, but they've got a chance on the offense. Stocky with another booming clear. Will put the ball to the other side. Now Jazer wins the race for the ball. Marky plays the ball down, but there's no options. So once again, Juicy Kids have ball, and Stocky with a ridiculously well-coordinated air roll. Still the offense on for Juicy Kids, but I hope they've got someone back, and they do. That's a really poor touch though. Marky just can't get there in time before Stocky did manage to fix his problem. Still 1-0, 2 minutes remaining. That clock is ticking down, and it's ticking down fast for Excel. They need to find a way through, but wasted possession yet again. Just playing the ball straight back over to Jazer. I
was so excited. Jazer getting a flip reset in a tournament match would be the dream for him.
That's going to be the follow-up. No one took around there, though. Absolutely right. I have to agree. Gregan, there's going to be yet another chance. Going to bounce off the backboard. Is anyone there to take the shot? Yes, they are. However, there's Jazer coming through from the side, getting the save, and now Juicy Kids have got a chance to move forward. Jazer low boost, but he's still gonna go for the flick. It should go in, but there is a man known as Pondex.
No boost.
That keeps his team alive, and Jazer has to communicate to his team that he is out of juice. You know, 100 miles an hour for a second there, and now suddenly everyone has slowed down. Now Killer showing off some of those old 1v1 abilities. Marky's taking his time. I don't think anyone's communicated to Marky. You don't have time to take your time. You have a minute remaining before you are eliminated from DreamHack Open.
The theme of this tournament has been one goal is never enough. We've seen so many games that have been one goal the difference, and in the final moments it's all changed, and that will be going through Juicy Kids' head right now. They cannot sleep on one goal, and that is exactly why. Marky Dudar flopping that ball to the middle, Pondex waiting, they score a goal.
Just taking advantage of the angles available to him. Neither team has really had that much of a great showing in game 2. They've picked it up, and now it looks like everyone's starting to really shift up the gears. They couldn't have come at a better time for Excel. They were on the verge of being out. They are still on the verge of being out, but it just seems like the momentum has shifted and they're finding more offensive opportunities.
It's looking nervy as well from Juicy Kids. They're sitting there knowing they've got to win this game and they're through. But they're just not being as effective with their touches. Earlier on in the last game, we were seeing them passing to each other, making momentum, finding each other for those shot opportunities.
Oh, Pound, huge mistake from him. Lucky enough, Juicy Kids were never thinking that he was going to try and go for that. Lovely touch from Jazer, not only to set himself up, but also gives his team time to rotate back after the double commit. And we could be very well on our way to overtime, as the Juicy Kids can create an opportunity from this. Probably unlikely, and it will not happen. Regan, we have overtime, and Excel must win.
I think the theme last game was this one goal thing, and it was the exact same situation. Overtime, one goal conceded, you're out.
It's going to be Marky. He's got the ball bouncing off players. A little bit worried about the players behind him as to whether or not they are going to move forward a little bit too much. Remember, Excel have had a bad habit of double committing at the worst possible times. Hopefully they will try and avoid that. Niels Cook going to go up. Ponex gets pulled off the ball. Now Marky Dudar is available. He was just shut down in the nick of time. He can go for yet another shot. That should be open, but Niels Cook waiting in the central side of the field, unable to even get close to the ball, and Juicy Kids will survive.
Survive is definitely the key word, because that was all in Excel's power to score a goal there. All three of them could have scored based off of a touch being in the right place. Stocky using his own backboard. It's always scary seeing that happen, but it's definitely a good route out of defense.
Good play there from Killer, using the fact that he had 0 boost to instead use himself as a battering ram to challenge the ball, but still Excel on the offense. They've barely moved from here ever since they got their tying goal, and now Jazer will finally clear the lines for the Juicy Kids and maybe able to follow it up. He was uncontested on that shot, just couldn't quite get decent contact. Now it's Juicy Kids' turn as they put wave after wave of offense onto the Excel half. Big pull put up by Niels Cook. Marky did think about it, but instead chooses to defend. It's probably a smart idea. You usually see as these overtimes get longer and longer, a bigger priority on defense. And the creativity of these teams is going to wind down that much more. Stocky. Very little boost, still did well with that. Now Marky by himself. Marky no longer a part of our pitch. As we've hit 2 minutes of overtime. Killer can follow this. He's going to be uncontested. So that is why Marky, recognizing that the boost was always going to be low by the time of contact, and he had time to just sit back and wait for the ball to come to him.
We're getting into the endurance stage of this overtime where, like you said, both teams are going to pull off a little bit with those crazy plays and look to just wait for the mistake and use that mistake to create a goal. Sometimes it's better just to do it in waves, just get a sprint on, start doing something creative for a bit and just say, okay, right, we'll have a break, and we'll come back in. Because right now, neither team is really making themselves a way to a victory.
Oh, that is a bad pinch against Marky. That's going to be bouncing off the backboard as well. Who will be first? Pondex gets the flick up, and he will keep his team safe as they try and come back. I think Marky actually just got completely annihilated and taken down to the other end of the field, but he can take that to his own advantage. We come close to 3 minutes of overtime now. Stocky wants to go down the middle. Niels Cook, though, takes that one first. Marky was also an option just behind him. Should now be on the ball. As you just mentioned, this is an endurance thing. And when you get to these like major overtimes, the ones that really matter, you also see teams less willing to ever go for anything that could even go close to a contest. Everyone wants to just get clean touches of the ball, otherwise they just won't even bother.
Yeah, with any game which is your knockout potential game, the mindset switches from I need to win this to I can't lose this. And with I can't lose, defense becomes a priority.
Now Pwned in the corner. Killer pretty loose with his touch, allowing Marky to go for the shot. Pwned had an opportunity there to start looking around and maybe go for a demo. Didn't quite come out as we start heading towards 4 minutes now. We could almost get ourselves a full extra game. These pros are complaining about a lack of best of fives. We're going to get close to that point anyway. As Killer takes his time. Might end up regretting that as Ponex has got it set up. The demo comes through, and the follow-up shot is not on target. Excel, with every single wave of offense, are looking more and more dangerous, and Juicy Kids need to finish this game soon.
You do not want to go to another game as a clean sheet once again, because it does just get that little bit more tense when you're in the final single game that could decide whether you're here tomorrow or not. This overtime is now approaching that point where it is a single game. Juicy Kids just need to find their creativity we saw not only in the first game of the series, but in the earlier series between these two teams.
Well, only one player back in that is Niels Cook. His team needs to rotate back and they need to do it quickly. Marky Dula actually misses. Stocky sets himself up and can't find the target. The follow-up shot, not on target at all. And this time, it was Excel's turn to breathe. And what a great angle! Niels Cook will send us to game 3.
No way did we just see that. That was out of nowhere.
It literally was.
The ball just snuck past
Look
two
at him.
players.
So
you need to put the water to your mouth in a controlled manner, Mr. Marky Duda. That was a crazy finish. We were 450, almost at the 5-minute mark, and then out of nowhere, the ball gets hit into the back wall, and then the cutest of angles found the goal.
Well, it was always going to be an unorthodox goal when you get into those sort of matches. No one's really capable unless we see a major defensive mistake. Marky, you've got to play another game, mate. I'll tell you what, actually, no, I should be. He's not been more ready to play another game in his entire life. Whilst on the other side of the pitch, relaxed. An opportunity to reflect on effectively a 2-game match that we just saw. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have got one final game to play. Winner will head on through and we will see them tomorrow. Loser goes home. Gregan, I mean, I don't really know there's too much we can analyze from that game because we basically watched 2 different games. One where it was very sloppy in the opening 5 minutes and another where everyone just didn't want to go wrong.
Exactly, and I think it was a very low boost game. There seemed to be a lot of people on 0 boost the whole time, which means you get those missed shot touches, those misplays where you can't quite hit the ball as you were hoping to. And that needs to change. These teams need to be in more control to score goals, but I think defensively that last game was superb to watch. Well, the overtime of the last game was superb to watch.
Even to start this match, you can already see the differences as Excel started off with an attempted passing play, something we didn't come close to seeing towards the end of that previous match. But they were almost caught on the counter-attack, and that does really seem to be what the story of this has started to turn out, as Excel's continued offense against Juicy Kid's ability to pounce on any mistakes that Excel made. Now another ball pounded over into the corner. Pote wants to try and get a block, and he has got it. Just going to be given straight over to one of his teammates. Another pass outwards. There was 2 players committed, though, unnecessarily, and now Killer can try and set something up, but it's not quite going to happen. Pwned attempts to clear. But yet again, Excel seem to just commit players in places that really don't need to.
It's when they got 0 boost, like Pondex is hanging about upfield with 0 boost. What are you going to do there? If the ball gets hit to you, you can't adjust quickly, you haven't got enough boost to do so. Just get out of the way, get back, find some boost.
Ball up high. Here's going to beat Niels Cooks. He tries to find a Marky Duda who didn't quite have the ability to go on the wall. From the looks of it, he's completely out of boost as he takes a small vacation on the major boost pad. Now Marky, he's got options, and he does try to take it. There was that hesitation, though, and that forced Niels Cook to slow down, meant that he couldn't quite reach the pass.
Those infield passes are so dangerous if you literally find the nose of your teammate as they're going forward at full speed. As you said, a little bit of hesitancy, a little bit of timing issue, which comes with synergy. You get used to how your teammates move, so therefore you can aim for their car in a perfect way, but it wasn't the case, as this has been a 0-0 game. Last game we saw 4 minutes 50 without a goal, probably even longer just before that overtime. I think this game is going to be similar. These teams have tightened up hugely.
Stocky gets the setup. It's going to go off the post. Another shot comes in. It's scramble defense, but finally the scramble offense will come out on top.
Ever want a goal? Ask me to say there's not going to be many goals, because that's what happened straight away. And it was, as you said, scramble defense. I think there was 3 players who were just around the goal.
Juicy Kids used splash, and for once it was effective.
Exactly. Everyone in the Juicy Kids team tried to find a shot that in some way didn't do what they were expecting, and eventually killer number 7 was gifted.
So we were in this position last game. Excel were able to make a comeback. That's actually a very good touch, but there was going to be no one available for the follow-up shot.
Why are you going for that?
Now going to go straight to the net, and Niels Cook will tie it up. But Gregan, you were mumbling a bit there. You weren't happy.
Why are you going for that? There's no world where that is a smart decision, because you're never going to get there first. You're never going to add anything to the situation if your teammate gets there first. The only thing that can happen is you can concede if they shoot it on target, or get lucky if they miss.
It's Niels Cook shooting. He's going to shoot it on target.
Exactly.
Niels Cook's passes are shots. As we actually saw, he tried to pass it from that corner in the last game. Now it's going to be Pwned with the block. It's actually going to go straight in. Pwned has never won a challenge this well in his entire life, and it's never come at a better time.
It was a quality aerial just coming in, had a nice angle covered for the potential clear, and at the final moments adjusted so he could push it towards the net. I think a lot of people would consider that luck, but it's definitely a lot.
He's read that one.
He's read that very well, and micro adjustments at the final moment allowed him to guide that towards the net. So smart from Pwned X being aggressive.
Oh, there's going to be the third, but Killer just there in time. It was only a matter of seconds ago. The Juicy Kids were 1 goal up, and now suddenly Excel find themselves 1 goal to the better. Jazer clears long, looking for Killer. Killer wants to get it back down to Jazer. It's going to be difficult to make anything, but Jazer has managed to pinch it against his opponent, and we're all tied up yet again.
Yeah, Killer number 7 making the smallest of touches that threw off Pwned X, turned him into a paddle for Jazer to squeeze it in off of. The 2 flat cars in the lobby make a very nice pinch together, and that ball goes towards the net, and we're back to level score. We had a little brief period of sloppy defense.
What was that kickoff again? Stocky only needed to make contact, and once again we would have had a leader changed for the 3rd time this match. Niels wants to get a long clear. Markey doesn't have time to stop his car from moving, otherwise he will get challenged like he was. So now back to the corner. He just wants to try and bait Niels Cook to try and go back over there, see what he can do. Jason now plays it back into Excel's half. The pace has slowed down yet again, much like we saw in game 2. Everyone not necessarily trying to create much, but just ensure that the ball is not near their goal.
And that's going to be going towards the Excel half. You never want to be retreating as people are passing it towards the net. Excel get away with it on this occasion. We enter the final minute, scores are level. And if you could say to these 2 teams before the tournament that 1 goal was going to separate them, that is what would happen. Juicy Kids go up 1 goal. 6 of 7 games on pretty much now between these 2 teams. We've seen them play so many times, and that could be the difference, a dunk.
I mean, even at the dunk, even if they managed to clear their lines, it was a poor touch. Even if the dunk doesn't come in, it was a poor touch and it was another double commit. The goal was happening no matter what, but thankfully Stocky gave us a bit of a better goal by reading that one. Once again, we have ourselves a different leader. Juicy Kids now just have to hold on for 30 more seconds, and Excel will be eliminated. Killer wants to keep the ball in the Excel half of the field. A big demo will leave the ball for Stocky, who actually misses it. And now Jazer comes forward. 30 seconds is now turned into 10. Niels Cook wants to do some damage. He's gonna do some damage, whoa, but a defensive wall is erected and no one can get past. And one last throw of the dice is available to Excel if they can even get the ball, but they cannot. Juicy Kids will progress to day 2.
Excel had a very tough matchup here against Juicy Kids, and they were so close to making it happen. As we said, these guys played earlier in a 3-game series, and then just now we've seen 3 games with a 5-minute overtime. They couldn't have played more to find out who was the better, but it was, in fact, Juicy Kids winning it by 1 goal in their final game. So close between the 2 of them.
These guys have already played once already today. Juicy Kids taking that one as well, so I think we have ourselves a definitive result at that point. And yeah, former Flipside Tactics teammates, Jazer, the sub back then, the winner today. Times are certainly changing in the Rocket League scene, but what a game. I think if there's any game we could have ended today on, that was as perfect as any.
And to see that embrace from Marky Dudar and Jazer to be the final hug on the stage today. That just sums up the Rocket League community. We've seen so many ex-teammates playing against each other. We started the day with ELMP versus Snasky, and throughout the day, so many friends, so many rivalries, but at the end of the day, Rocket League is just so fun to watch, and that was a great stamp to finish the day.
Absolutely. So, we are going to be signing off here, and now heading on over to Axel Toss and the desk.
Thank you, Shogun and Greg, and what a match to finish things off. I feel like I just want to watch those two play on and on and on and on and on, but it's already getting a little late here. It's already been a very long day, but the Juicy Kids prevailing, and there was a moment there where I was getting Flipside Tactics flashbacks, especially you know, overtime game 2. You see Marky just so intense throughout that as time is winding down, as that overtime is ticking away, and especially after that goal was secured there from Excel. I'm like, well, is this Marky doing it again when he's absolutely on the ropes and he absolutely has to? And it almost worked out. I feel like a couple mistakes there in game 3, and then perhaps a couple missed opportunities, but all the credit in the world to the Juicy Kids holding on, prevailing against a team in Excel that was just roaring back, and you could tell they really wanted that win.
And Achieves, your numbers, much better than mine.
I'll take that.
Mine are garbage.
I'll take that.
My numbers are garbage today. Achieves wins out here, but Juicy Kids, what a showing.
Yeah.
That game 3 felt like we were playing on hoops. It was just dunk after dunk after dunk on these goals. And the last one came from actually Marky. He kind of, I think it was Niels trying to make the save, and he jumped in front of him.
Yeah.
And then
it was
that
also a
last
great
dunk.
read on Stocky.
For sure, yeah,
I mean,
for sure. But that
good.
could have been an easier save, and Marky
That's
trying to do a little bit too much, and
Yeah.
his 100% win rate on European lands has come to an end. He leaves on day number 1.
Well, we have Stocky standing by from the Juicy Kids, who are advancing to Game 2 of the DreamHack Open. Stocky, I gotta ask, man, you guys won there against Excel in the first matchup, and then you guys seemed pretty comfortable there in the second matchup, but Excel, they started coming back a little bit. How are you feeling as that match went along, and how are you feeling now advancing into day 2?
Yeah, I didn't like how I played today, but my team did it in the end, and I'm very proud of them.
So, Stocky, we see a new roster, obviously. You pick up Jazer. What does he bring to this team that is different than, like, your old teammates?
He's doing some weird things, and yeah, I don't know, he's good in the air, he's fast, and yeah.
I mean, what more could you want, right?
There you go.
We've already heard a couple different ways. You get boost control, or you just hit the ball, and Jazer can definitely do both of those things. So, definitely good stuff for them. But Gibbs, what group do they move into tomorrow?
All right, Stocky. So you guys got Dignitas, the Dudes, and guess who?
Yeah. So, Dignitas and the Dudes, and guess who? Are you more worried about the Dudes because I mean they've done some crazy stuff already, or guess who?
What? Sorry?
Are you more worried about the team, the Dudes, tomorrow, or playing Guess Who tomorrow?
Guess who, I think.
Understandable. That's fair. I mean, you're not a little bit worried about North America? Not a little bit?
Yeah, they're pretty good, but...
All right. I'll take that.
All right, Stocky, congratulations on your win today. I know it was very hardly fought, and you guys definitely deserve it. Best of luck tomorrow. We'll see you then. All right, that's Stocky from the Juicy Kids, and what a day from them, especially on a day, as you mentioned, where we're seeing a lot of the rematches go the other way. The Juicy Kids barely able to hold on to push into tomorrow. I'm looking forward to tomorrow now, guys. Like we have some teams that came to play in a big way, and honestly, that was an excellent match to close things out. Let's go ahead and look at the highlights once again. I feel like, you know, a lot of these highlights are just phenomenal. These teams just saving it to the very end to pull out the best Rocket League we've seen today.
And that game 1 was all killer number 7.
Yeah,
he pulled out 9 shots. He had a hat trick, and he had 1 assist. He was doing everything for his team. But Juicy Kids, I felt like played really well. But Excel, they also played pretty decent. It was a much better series than we saw way earlier today.
Yeah, and that game 2, that super long overtime for Excel, they generated chance after chance after chance. And then the funny thing is, it didn't even come down to pressure. He just drove down the pitch, threw it off the side, and Marky's like, yes, baby.
Have a heart attack. And then here we see dunks. We talk about former teammates. Pondex and Killer number 7. They were both on Penta Sports in season number 3. He dunks there. Then Stocky here, the dunk on Marky. You should have left that ball, but he didn't for Pondex. And that was the clincher right there. And the Juicy Kids, they survive, win by a goal, and they're moving on to day 2. And it's a clean slate for everyone on day 2. So even if you made it through the lowers, you're starting off again 0 wins, 0 losses, 2 to go home, or 2 wins to move on.
Well, that's effectively going to wrap us up, guys. Any favorite moments of the day or any favorite matches? Just curious on your thoughts overall.
I'm going to just hats off to North America. They really stepped up today. They had 7 teams here. 3 were in the same group, so one of them had to go home. That's the only team that went home. That was Rogue. All the other 6 made it through. 3 won their group. Hats off to them for a huge showing versus Europe.
That Envy London game was pretty nuts.
Yeah.
If you missed London taking down Envy, go and check that one out because they earned that win.
And I feel like, what do we have? 6 North American teams advancing. Yep. So if anyone's just now tuning in, I know some people just are tuning in because we're a little bit later in Europe. Definitely go back and watch some of those North American matches. Just so exciting all throughout to see them really make their presence known here in Europe. But it's time to recap a little bit more. We have a goal of the day, courtesy of JNaps from G2. Let's take a look at this one. I feel like we could have picked a few from JNaps, but this is the one.
Yeah, right here we see him go across the ball.
You can't do that.
Beautiful flip, a low angle shot, and look at that, middle, directly in the middle. He knows it's wide open.
Like, what just happened?
Perfect shot from here from JNaps.
What are you doing?
And honestly, G2, their offense is called JNaps. I think they just misspelled offense, and it's just JNaps for them.
It's a synonym. They needed the thesaurus.
And this brings us to the save of the day, courtesy of Cooksier from Flipside Tactics.
And Cooksier was everywhere on the field. Look how
right there.
Look at that beautiful save. It was a last-second reaction, and yeah, the placement along the wall for his teammate. Cooks was everywhere on the field. And Flipside, they barely survived, and they're playing with a sub, but they're still alive going into day number 2. Look at that. Oh,
that was a big one too, because that was that advancement game. It's like you can't allow them to tie the game up. You got to continue and hold on.
Well, they were actually
lead.
down 2-1 there, so that would have been 3-1. So huge moment there.
And Flipside able to advance on into tomorrow. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and take a look at the groups. We're whittling down our teams little by little here at the DreamHack Open in Leipzig. This is what we're looking like for day 2, our group stage. And Gibbs, I guess while it's loading up, you can remind us as you have it right in front of you there.
I'll take it away. Here we go.
You've got them
all.
So
the group of death will start. Gale Force Esports, Fnatic, Team Secret, and G2. Now we'll go to the easy group, which is basically the byproduct of the group of death. There's no such thing as an easy group, but if there was one, it would be Dignitas, the dudes. Don't count them out.
Yeah.
Then we got Guess Who and the Juicy Kids. Next up on the other side, Method and Energy, Flipside Tactics, and Splice.
Don't count them out either.
Don't count them out either. And PSG, and then Equinox, London. Don't count them out. And Ghost. A lot of great teams that are still alive, but we have to send 8 home tomorrow. And only 8 will make it to the money rounds. So it's anyone's game here. A clean slate once again, guys. No one has losses, no one has wins. You have to win 2 to advance to the bracket stage for day number 3.
All right, well, that does it for us. Time check here. We start tomorrow at 1:10 CET, so 1:10 p.m. local time, which I believe -9 is Pacific Coast.
Yes, correct.
-6 is East Coast. You guys can do the math from there.
Early days.
Regardless, just keep the stream on so you get your rewards. We all know a lot of you are looking for that. Hopefully you got your Apex wheels. Hopefully you got what you're looking for. But this weekend is just going to get more and more exciting as we get closer and closer to crowning our champion. $50,000 in title of DreamHack Open Champion, the first major Rocket League esports event of 2018, and the competition is already looking incredible, and we've only just begun. Guys, before we close out, any final words?
I'm just going to save my voice, so I'm done.
Yeah, let's go. Day 2 tomorrow. Come back.
All right, we're going to go get some rest. That's 12 matches down. Hopefully you guys tune in the rest of the way. We'll see you tomorrow.